What's up, Jerome homies? Weekly Q&A session fired up. Let's go. Why is my mic? I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my hands. Drippy. Obviously, behind Alexander Madison, who do you think will get the most carries out of Ty Chandler, McBride, and Kene and Wangu? Rank them. So, maybe not carries, but touches. I'm going to go that exact order. Chandler, McBride, and Kene. I think that Kene's still going to be just a special teams guy. I think Chandler will get some third down work as a receiver, and I think McBride is going to get some first and second down work as a runner. I really think that. Greg Lawson, what gift ideas would you have for a Father's Day gift for a dad who is both a Vikings fan and loves supporting local content? I mean, I guess we could shamelessly plug the store, all that stuff, but I don't know. I mean, everything's, you can get anything that's Vikings branded. Like, we've gotten our father-in-law a Vikings cooler and a Vikings grill cover, just really random stuff. But I don't know. I feel like if you want to spend up a little bit, getting like a throwback jersey from a significant player from his era, so probably like a Fran Tarkenton jersey or an Alan Page jersey. Woo. Be a scholarship forever, man. Danny, how do you think all three phases of our game will be different this year from last year? Draft class, free agency, trades, releases, new coach stuff. How much will our defense improve, and what do you expect same from offense? Special teams is going to be great. I think that Jay Ward is going to be a phenomenal special teamer, man. I think the defense, I mean, yeah, it sucks letting Patrick Peterson go and cutting Eric Kendricks, and Diesel Dalvin Thompson's gone, but they are younger, they're faster, they're hungrier, and also they're cheaper. So that defense is going to get after the offense. Year two, marinating with Kevin O'Connell. I think that the sequel is going to be just as good or better than the original. It's going to be like Godfather 2 versus Godfather 1. Can't wait to see what happens, man. Danny, realistically, how do you see the NFC North standings playing out this year, and how many of the four would you say make the playoffs? Vikings, Lions, Bears, Packers. Vikings win the division, and the Lions make it as a wild card, like 7 seed. Knack. Canadian Vikings fans went to a few games last year, including the playoff game. First time at US Bank Stadium. Most amazing atmosphere. Would you trade Hunter for a first and third or better? That's my line of demarcation. Like, I would trade Daniil for what's perceived as a middle to high first and third. Yeah. Can you use capital for a quarterback next year? Yes. Yeah. Stephen Baker. Do you think there's a chance if we trade Hunter, we get Justin Herbert for 2 1s next year? No. Herbert would take at least 3 1s and probably 2 starters, somewhere in there. Yeah, I mean, Herbert's a stud. He really is, man. K Fizzle. Skull from Holland, by the way. Love it. K Fizzle. Do you think the rookies from recent draft will see a good time on the field? Yes. I think especially the class of 2022 on defense is going to be great. Cena has come back from the broken leg. Booth hopefully will stay healthy. Evans will hopefully not have as many concussions. Asazi will get the time of day. Asamoah, obviously. So you're basically getting a free draft class from last year that everyone wrote off. But no, they're going to be significant parts of this defense. Farmer Fresh. How do you feel about the Vikings paying the stadium way earlier than expected? Not really familiar with all of the intricacies of it, but paying it off sooner, I think it saved like quite a few $1 million of interest, so that's always a good thing. Sean LaFleur, as a whole, how awesome are the Wilfs as our team owners? Is there a stat for that? Should we make one a good vibes counter team culture facilities, genuinely seeming to try and look out for players? I think they're winning this owning job stuff. They're really good, and we've highlighted why before, because they invest in their team, hence the team facilities, hence what they contributed to the stadium. They hire good people, let them work. They're not helicopter owners. They're not always looking to be in the headlines announcing like, hey, we got to trade here. They're not on social media, like Jim Irsay. They're not in the media like Jerry Jones. And overall, they're just really good owners. Like they get it. They do a lot of great work in the community off the field as well. So I think they're really, really good. Reptar, which current Viking do you consider to be the biggest steal with how they perform now compared to where they're drafted? Well, I guess Daniil as a third rounder, yes. Jefferson as a late first rounder, yes. From this class, I'm gonna say Dwayne McBride. I think McBride sneaky has a chance to be really, really good, really fast. just given how quickly running backs can come in and contribute. I think he's going to be really interesting as a rookie. Samuel St. Marie, what's the bigger plus this year? That we get young players or Brian Flores coaching the defense? I would say Flores, because it just changes the mindset. We're not going to sit back and let life happen to us. We're going to make things happen. We're going to force the issue. And just that sheer... That was the most frustrating thing last year, is that if they just got more aggressive, if they pressed man, if they blitzed more, and yeah, you could get beat. But guess what? Sitting back 8-9 yards off the receiver while you're not getting pressure with 4 will get you beat too. All right, so just take more chances, man. Todd Milner. Other than not winning the Super Bowl, what do you think will be the biggest disappointment from the team this year? For me, likely the interior offensive line. I'm a little bit worried about the defensive line. Even though I do have hope for Usezi and Jaquelin and Harrison Phillips, like, it just seems like they didn't replace Diesel Dalvin 1-for-1. I mean, Lowry's fine, but Webb J 11. Where do you think the Vikings' biggest weakness on the depth chart, and which free agent do you think we can fill that gap? I guess defensive line and Ndamukong Suh, maybe, or edge rusher depth. Right now, especially with what happens with Daniil, who knows? I would bring in Yannick the freaking Ngakoue. I would bring in Trey Flowers. I would bring in Kyle Van Noy. I would bring in these veteran guys on cheap deals that know Flores and were very productive with Flores, and go from there. B-Mac Domingo. Where do you think Brian Flores will have our defense ranked this year, since we had the Don Shell defense last year? What would the defense be called this year? I don't know, something with flow. Yeah, B-Flow, the B-Flow D. I don't know. The Flow D. It's lake season. I think the defense will rank in like the teens, like 15, 16, 17, somewhere in there. And that's all that you need, man. It's all that you need. Like if they're top 3 in blitzing, if they're top 10 in turnovers, I think you got something cooking there. TG 5455. Besides division games, what game this season are you looking forward to seeing? Looking forward to the Chiefs. If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. And having the Super Bowl champions in your building have a chance to have a statement win early in the season. Yes. Also the Eagles game. I mean, come on, man. Michael Converse, are the Vikings going to carry 3 quarterbacks on the 53-man rooster all season, or should they try and sneak Hall in a practice squad and risk him getting Tyler Thigpen? I guess we'll see how he performs in training camp and preseason, but I could see them carrying 3 on the rooster. Since they invested a draft pick, since he is a Kwesi and a Kevin O'Connell draft pick, and not like a Kellen Mond, who was a Spielman guy. We'll see. Jack M. Do you think Kwesi going to be cheap and getting rid of Jefferson for draft picks? No. I think Kwesi understands you have a superstar at a premium position, and also I think it goes beyond that, like the ownership, face of the franchise type guy. Jefferson is box office. Fans literally buy tickets just to watch him and buy season tickets, so I don't think that they would let him go for a myriad of reasons. Casey Wall. If we were to have a great season next year, what likelihood would we try to get Caleb Williams, and how would we? Trade Jefferson and Daniil. Or Poodle. And also 3 first-round picks, probably. Who would you pick if you could take one offensive player, one defensive player from any team you wanted? Cap hit was an issue. I mean, Mahomes and Micah Parsons, or Mahomes and Sauce Gardner. Yeah. Justin C. Any guess as to what position player will be signed? I would bring in either a defensive lineman or a linebacker. Yeah. Isaac Hilzendager. Sure. What are your record predictions for all 4 NFC North teams in 2023? Vikings 12-5, Lions 9-8, the Bears 5-12, and the Packers 4-13. There you go. Dakota Betts. Is there any Vikings players you think we lose after the season? He's loose. Harrison Smith. I think everyone knows that it's over. Harrison Phillips is out of contract, I believe. Ezra Cleveland, I think, walks. I think guys like Wanham. Yeah, I think Wanham's gone. Yeah, guys like that. Noble War Prize. What state of the franchise heading into the 2023 season? Now that a significant portion of the offseason is complete. It's a transformation year, but also it's a loading for the future. Not a reload, just a load where, I mean, you have continuity and you have the second off season of Kwesi and Kevin O'Connor really able to sink their teeth into reshaping this roster. Last year, it was making good with a lot of veterans from the Spielman regime. So now we're good to go, man. I love it. Travis Belmore. Is Dalvin Cook Hall of Fame material? If not, what does he have to do to get there? I don't think that he is. He's had 4 phenomenal seasons. He never won a rushing title, never fully dominant. I would say that he's 99th right now on the all-time rushing list. He would have to double that. So he'd have to have a Frank Gore type second act to his career, but I don't see that happening. Connor Keck, Hunter, Jefferson, and Hockenson, rank them in order from deserving an extension to least deserving, and why do you feel that way? I would say Jefferson, Hockenson, Daniil, strictly because age. Because Jefferson is, 23, Hawkins is 25 or 26. Yeah, Hawks is 25. No, he's 26. One of the two. Daniil's going to be 28 this year. Jefferson obviously is 1. Hawkinson 2 because of what he brings to this offense, and 3 Hunter. I love him. I would like to extend him, but of the 3, I would put him last. Isaac Ackley. With Cook gone and us freeing up cap space, who are the remaining free agents you would like to see us sign? Yannick the Freak Ngakoue. An off-ball linebacker, possibly Kyle Van Noy would make sense. Trey Flowers makes sense. I mean, Ndamukong Suh, why not? Augustine, Dwayne Smoot. It's still a free agent. It was kind of crazy, man. What player are you most excited for this year? It's always Jefferson. It really is. But other than that, Hockenson with a full offseason. Addison is going to be great, man. Asamoah, I can't wait to see him out there, man. It's going to be good. Jack Butcham. Would you rather be trucked by Jerome Bettis on the goal line, juked by Barry, and snap your ankles, literally, get speared by Earl Campbell? Why would Earl Campbell spear me? He's a running back. Or be a Packers fan for life, skull, love your channel? I would get trucked by Jerome Bettis. I think I'd be fine with that. I've had worse knocks in my life. Yeah, ankles. I mean, that could maim you for life. I mean, Earl Campbell's jersey would rip, and being a Packers fan, that's no. Michael Hastery. Do you think we should get Nuke and eliminate unnecessary JJ hits? He's definitely looking for a retirement spot at this point in his career. Nah, I don't think that he jives with what O'Connell wants to do in terms of O'Connell's offense is based on receivers that get separation, and Nuke, that's never really been his thing. Like, he's been a contested catch guy. He's been a huge catch radius guy. I just really don't see it. Andrew Breenan. Do you think we could have repeat success of last year with all new weapons of Flores coaching the D? Also, we have the same name. That is neat. Yes. The defense can only get better, and the offense got better. It did. Traveler. Blackman was successful in college despite his size, partly because he could be handsy without getting called for it. He's getting called for penalties in the NFL, and he's playing faster, stronger receivers. What is needed to step up? I mean, well, he did get called for it in college too. All right, so let's just not say that he held on to receivers all the time, but he was constantly tested in the Pac-12 as well as practice against Addison every single day made him better. And also, playing across from Gonzo in Colorado, I'm sure that certainly helped. But it is coaching, it is development, and we said this before. I'd rather have a cornerback who's too aggressive and handsy versus too passive, because you can dial down one, it's hard to dial up the other. He'll be fine. Sam Sports Shop. Could Jaron Hall overthrow Mullins as QB2 if he performs well in the preseason? I mean, it would take a lot. And that's not an aspersion on Jaron Hall. That's more of hyping up Nick Mullins. Where Mullins is an extremely solid veteran quarterback. He has had success when he had to spot start a handful of years ago with the Niners. I think that Mullins is exactly what you want as a veteran backup quarterback because, knock on wood, if poop did hit the van, he could operate the offense. He could play within the offense and get the ball and distribute to the playmakers. So that's what you need, man. Skullvex 2005. A pick at around 20 in round 1 and 3 and a 7th rounder for Daniil. Would you do it? Skull from Austria. Another shrimp on the Barbie. Yes, I would do it. Can Adam Brunker. Can we just sign AD and pad his stats while tanking for Caleb Williams? Nah. Conan Billybone. If that's his real name, that's really awesome. Is Greg Joseph the Vikings kicker in 2023? Yes. Even though they have a UDFA there, Greg Joseph has been nailed so far in OTAs. Barring him falling off a cliff, I think he'll be the guy. Nathan Pursuels. Who do you think is going to be the secret X factor on the defense this year? Asamoah's secret's already out. I think it might be Josh Metellus because we said this a bunch. Flores loves 3 safety looks. Metellus has been that guy as like a rover, linebacker, safety hybrid. I think that he could be that guy in year 4. Eric Francis, how much do you think Cook is worth? Probably about $4 or $5 million a year. Les M. Bread, who will be the next quarterback of the Vikings and when? Jaron Hall, 2025. Maybe. Justin Miller, when and why did you decide to start using the term Jerome? So we bring this up periodically. Back in the day, there was a poker podcast called Poker Road, and Phil Ivey, legendary poker player, he played underage, and his fake ID, his first name was Jerome on his fake ID, so he would be called Philip Jerome Ezekiel Ivey, and it was one of my favorite shows, and I was listening to it about the time we started this podcast, so just sort of stuck as just an additive nickname for everyone that we like. There you go. Andrew Smith, very concerned with the O-line this year. With O'Neal coming back from his Achilles injury, the only player I trust 100% to be is Darisaw. I don't like Ezra at guard. Bradbury seems inconsistent. Jury's still on Ed Ingram. O'Neal might have a difficult time coming back 100%. Thoughts, agree or disagree? I think they're all valid, but they're going to kick somebody's ass. We'll see. I'm a little worried too. Miles, who's the best player on our defense without Danielle? God. Harrison Phillips? I don't know, man. Like, there isn't a clear-cut, like, superstar. There's a lot of question marks. Byron Murphy is up there. Harrison's in the twilight, but also a lot of question marks like Asamoah, Scene, Booth, Evans, Blackman. Nah. HD Dominoes. Do you think Jettas will be number 1 wide receiver? Yes. Where's Kirk in your NFL quarterback rankings? Probably about 7, somewhere in there, because Mahomes, Burrow, Hurts, Herbert. Maybe 5 then. Yeah, maybe 5. I mean, I put him on the same plane as Lamar, Lawrence, somewhere in there. Yeah. Lastly, what part of Minnesota do you live in? From Buffalo. So I try and keep it vague, but I think people piece together South Metro. Yeah. No, we don't need people to know like where my kids go to school and whatnot. So that's it. That is this week's Q&A. Thanks for everyone who submitted questions. You guys are the best. Skol, production value.